Every time I do one of these stories, I swear it becomes my new favorite. But this one right here, is my new favorite. And I gotta thank my cousin Shannon for even putting me on. Because this just ain't a history lesson. This is a lesson in hustle, in power, and in vision. This is the kind of story that shows you the strength of a woman. Now, you know, when people talk about coffee in New Orleans, they always bring up Café du Monde. Like, that's the beginning. Like, that's where it all started. But what if I told you it actually started with a slave? What if I told you that before there were souvenir mugs and powdered sugar on your lap, there was a woman named Rose Nicaud? She was born into slavery in 1812 and was sold 6 times. Six. But somehow, through all of that, she managed to build one of the most iconic legacies this city has ever known, and barely anybody even knows it. Rose used what little freedom she had to hustle. She would walk the streets near the French market with a portable coffee stand, selling hot, fresh coffee to the folks just leaving Sunday Mass at St. Louis Cathedral. Word spread fast. People said her coffee was smooth, strong, and like the benediction that follows after prayer. Now, I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but I'm gonna go ahead and assume it was a compliment. But back to the story. This wasn't no Keurig drip. This was one cup at a time, brewed over a charcoal fire with a French drip pot, love, patience, and a steady hand. Real slow, real strong, real New Orleans. She was so good at it, she made enough money to buy her own freedom. She was free by the age of 28, and she didn't stop there. Rose went on to open her coffee stand inside the French market in a hall of vegetables. She was the first black woman, possibly the first person, period, to run a real deal coffee business in that space. And she didn't just make money, sis made waves. Her hustle inspired a whole community of free black women to start their own businesses. Now, excuse my French, literally, because I'm not good at it, but they were called les vendeuses. Oh my God, that was so bad. But back to the story. They sold food, flowers, pralines, you name it. Rose showed them that it was possible. She made sure that the French market had flavor, soul, and history in every corner. Now you might be wondering, how was she even able to do all this while she was still a slave? Well, here's the thing about New Orleans. It was different down here. New Orleans had one of the largest populations of free people of color in the entire country. And even though slavery was still very real, this city had a strange setup where slavery and freedom walked side by side. There were enslaved people and free black people living and working in the same space, and many enslaved folks were given Sundays off, and Rose took full advantage of that. She used her Sundays to post up after church, selling her coffee to the crowds, leaving Mass at St. Louis Cathedral, and she was allowed to keep some of the money she made. She hustled hard, saved up every coin, and that's how she eventually bought herself out of slavery. And let's not forget, Café du Monde didn't open until 1862. By then, Rose had already been doing her thing for decades. She laid the foundation. She built the culture. Long before coffee became trendy, before it got overpriced and overhyped, Rose was out there pouring culture into every cup. Her entrepreneurial spirit and determination laid the foundation for the rich coffee culture that New Orleans is known for today. But here's the part that gets me. This woman helped shape a whole city's identity. She inspired generations. She created legacy. And still, most people don't even know her name. And that's why I'm telling this story. Because I find it real funny that this is the kind of story they leave out of textbooks. Like, why? This should definitely be in the curriculum. It's inspiring as hell. Rose wasn't just black history. She wasn't New Orleans history. She wasn't women's history. She is history. Period. Think about it. This woman was a slave, sold 6 times, but in her free time, on Sundays at that, she used her one day off to go make money. She had hustle, she had drive, and she was innovative. As far as we know, she was running coffee stands before any of the so called big names in the business. Come on, y'all. This is exactly the kind of story that should be passed down, taught, and told out loud. But of course, they don't want to teach this. Because if we start learning what we were really doing back then, the whole narrative changes. And look, I'm not throwing shade. I love me some Café du Monde. But I do find it funny that their sign says the original French market coffee. when we've got receipts showing Rose Nicaud had the game on lock long before 1862.
Clock it.
And let me share this with y'all. I didn't even notice this until I was putting this video together. But I had taken my kids to Café du Monde the other night because we wanted beignets. We were walking over, by the river so we could go see the bridge. I was just casually recording and not even thinking about it. But take a good look at that wall. You notice anything? Yep, that's actually Rose Nicaud in that painting. She's actually serving coffee. But last week I had no idea who Rose Nicaud was, so I didn't even notice it. But when we don't know the names and when we don't know the stories, we walk right past it. We don't even realize how powerful that image is. And that's why we can't leave our history in their hands, because when they write it, they put themselves on the label. So follow this page because we're not just posting, we're preserving, and we're just getting started. Remember to like, comment, and share, and subscribe for more stories that they won't put in your textbook. Peace.